CNN, a probable cause hearing for Ethan Crumbley, the 15-year-old suspect accused of killing our fellow students at a Michigan high school in November, is scheduled for Friday. The hearing was postponed last month after prosecutors said they needed more time to examine a large amount of evidence before sharing it with defense attorneys. Crumbley is accused of opening fire at Oxford High School with a 9mm handgun on November 30, killing 4 students and injuring 6 others and 1 teacher. The attack some 40 miles north of downtown Detroit was the deadliest shooting at a U.S. K-12 campus since 2018. Crumbley is charged as an adult with 1 count of terrorism causing death, 4 counts of first-degree murder, 7 counts of assault with intent to murder, and 12 counts of possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony. At his arraignment last month, the judge entered a plea of not guilty per request from Crumbley's attorney. The slain students were Madison Baldwin, 17, Tate Meyer, 16, Hannah St. Juliana, 14, and Justin Schilling, 17, authorities said. By the time Crumbley's probable cause hearing was postponed December 13, prosecutors had shared about 500 pages of reports and witness statements with defense attorneys, Assistant Prosecutor Mark Keast said then. The Oakland County Sheriff's Office provided the prosecutor's office with a flash drive containing more than 340 items, including in-car video and recorded witness statements. Investigators needed to conduct more witness interviews at the time, he said, some of which had been delayed because the children at the school were victimized and traumatized, Keast said. The judge also at the time denied a request by defense attorneys for Crumbley to be moved from the Oakland County Jail to the Children's Village, which houses juveniles. The attorneys had argued he could hear other adults, which they said violated the statute for minors being held in adult facilities. The charges against the parents, Oakland County Prosecutor Karen McDonald said last month, are intended to hold the individuals who contributed to this tragedy accountable and send a message that gun owners have a responsibility. A disturbing timeline of events. Jennifer and James Crumbley have a motions hearing set for Friday afternoon where bail terms are expected to be discussed. They were held on $500,000 bond each after their arrest following a manhunt that began when they failed to show up to court for their initial arraignment. In a timeline laid out early December explaining why Crumbley's parents had been charged, McDonald said James Crumbley purchased the gun on Black Friday, November 26. A store employee confirmed that Crumbley's son, Ethan, was with him, the prosecutor said. The parents gave the weapon to their son as an early Christmas present, the prosecutor alleged. Ethan Crumbley had total access to this weapon, and the parents didn't secure the gun, and they allowed him free access to it, McDonald said during the parents' arraignment. One of the parents' attorneys, Shannon Smith, countered during the hearing, saying, the gun was actually locked. When the prosecution is stating that this child had free access to a gun, that is just absolutely not true, Smith said. McDonald has alleged that the day before the shooting, a teacher at Oxford High School saw Ethan Crumbley searching online for ammunition on his phone. The teacher notified school officials who contacted the parents via phone and email, but they did not respond. Later, Jennifer Crumbley sent Ethan a text message saying, "LOL, I'm not mad at you. You have to learn not to get caught," McDonald said. On the day of the shooting, another teacher found a drawing on Crumbley's desk which essentially depicted a shooting, McDonald said. It alarmed her to the point that she took a picture of it on her cell phone, the prosecutor said. The picture led school officials to hold a meeting with the accused shooter and his parents, who were instructed to help provide counseling for their son within 48 hours, school officials have said. The parents resisted the idea of taking their son out of school, McDonald said, and he was allowed to return to the classroom. Surveillance cameras captured the violence. Surveillance cameras at the school captured much of the violence, prosecutors have said. Just before 12:51 p.m. on the day of the shooting, Crumbley could be seen with a backpack, then a minute or two later, he exited a bathroom without the backpack but with a gun in hand, Keast said during Crumbley's arraignment. Crumbley then allegedly began to methodically and deliberately walk the hallways and aim a gun at students and fire the weapon, Keast said. When students began to run away, Crumbley allegedly continued to go down the hallway at a methodical pace and shot inside classrooms and at students who hadn't escaped, Keast said. This continued for another 4 or 5 minutes, and Crumbley eventually went to another bathroom, Keast said. Dozens of terrified students called 911 during the shooting. When deputies arrived, the suspect set down the gun and surrendered, officials have said. Prosecutors, parents disregarded signs their son was a threat. In a filing last month, prosecutors alleged that Crumbley's parents willfully ignored the needs and well-being of their son and the threat he posed to others. Defendants were in a better position than anyone else in the world to prevent this tragedy, but they failed to do so, the filing states. The filing came in response to a request from the Crumbleys for a modified bond, and it details how the couple is more than $11,000 behind on their house payments, have sold their horses, and have already shown that they will flee if they get the opportunity. The filing also details that the parents had 4 cell phones at the time of their arrest and attempted to destroy one of the phones. Based on those facts, we strongly believe that the bond for James and Jennifer Crumbley was set appropriately, Oakland County, Michigan, Chief Assistant Prosecutor David Williams said in a statement. The filing further alleged that when the Crumbleys left their son's school on November 30th, before the shooting began, they knew their son was depressed and fascinated with guns. The filing detailed Crumbley's state of mind in the months before the shooting, saying his parents were aware he was sadder than usual. While their son was struggling, his parents spent several hours a night, 3 to 4 nights a week, at a barn caring for their horses, and that one of the parents was having extramarital affairs, prosecutors alleged. Prosecutors also alleged that Ethan Crumbley had been torturing animals and kept a baby bird's head in a jar on his bedroom floor. Instead of paying attention to their son and getting him help, they bought him a gun, the filing states.